Okay, I am here today with my friend Louisa. And Louisa finished the Heal Autoimmunity Now program about 4 months or so ago. And so, Louisa, what was your experience in the program?
Well, I tell you, um, a lot of learning, that's for sure. And I feel like at this point, I might need to share that I did come from having done some previous work prior to finding you finally. I had started like October of last year by doing an online SIBO challenge. Which prior to that, I thought I had stomach cancer or something because I was so miserable, and doctors just, want to give you the over-the-counter stuff or prescribe you. But anyways, after that, it did help me a 30-day protocol compounded with, the what you eat, etc. It was from a reputable doctor. And so I did improve a lot in my digestive issues at the time. And then sometime at the end of January, I started working with an online coach previous to you as well. And it brought me to a better place than I was before as far as my autoimmune symptoms, which is a myriad, and which stem from the pictures of it, although not too many symptoms from elementary school. But I was not diagnosed until 50 years later. So, of course, by that time, I had just in and out of doctors and hospitals. And you know the story, how it goes. Many of us can relate with autoimmunity. But at the end of 3 months or so of doing that protocol prior to yours, I came to a crossroad. I really did. Both in my healing progress, I reached like a plateau, and I knew I was better. My symptoms were better, but I knew there was much work to do. And as much as the crossroad was what to do next, it involved a lot of, I knew it needed to be in the functional medicine realm. I know that's my only hope. Right. But by the same token, I needed to find something that was sustainable financially for me, because it was getting to where the financial stress was causing more problems, getting into debt and such. And I knew that there was much work to still continue. And that's when the Lord just kind of sent you into my path. And it was through a member group in one of the support groups for one of the autoimmune illnesses that I have, that they mentioned you. And then several times it was like, okay, I need to find out about this lady. So I searched you, I looked at the videos, and then once I talked to you and once I started the protocol with you, I mean, the weekly meetings with you, as far as the knowledge that I thought I had already learned a whole lot, but I had much more to learn still. I mean, you not only met with me for a very long time, and then provided me with an assessment, a functional assessment, and you were willing to take the time to assess my previous testings and evaluate that and meet me there, so that I would not double into some of the lab work, equally important lab work, that in your evaluation you found that I needed to do as well, because they were going to give us a lot more pieces of the puzzle, so to speak, to find the root causes for my symptoms. And so through those weekly meetings, I mean, I learned so much about inflammation and the oxidative state of the body, which later, once I did a certain test through you, it showed me how I am, through some gene mutations, which I hadn't even heard of such things. I do not release the what do you call them?
The toxins.
The toxins out of my body. And
Yeah.
with your help, we are correcting that, you know? And I, through that, in that module later on with genetics, in one of weeks 5 or something like that, week 4, I learned about all of that, about nutrigenetic or something like that. And, and most importantly, epigenetics, which you taught us that I am not stuck into the weaknesses of any gene mutations that I may have. That's you right. Gave me solutions. And it was just amazing because, like many other people, I do work so much better when I know the reasons for what I'm doing. Yeah. You know, we go to our doctors and they just, like I just went 2 days ago, and no offense to the doctors, I believe they're experts in their field of study, and but they treat us like we're ignorant of anything else, including our own bodies, you know? And when it comes to talking about the root causes of my symptoms, they really think I'm crazy for trying to find that out, you know? And this is with no offense to them, but this is where they are ignorant themselves, you know? But I just went.
They're coming from a different perspective, right?
Yes, yes.
They're coming from just find a pharmaceutical drug to fix the symptom instead of find the underlying root cause for the symptom in the first place.
Yes, Dorinda, it is a struggle because I want to leave the doors open with these doctors because we never know when we'll need them for real, you know? But in the meanwhile, it's just disappointment after disappointment. I'm going to meet my deductible. Well, I met my deductible. I was trying to get into as many appointments as I could before the year is over. And I've had a couple of appointments in the last week and a half. And it's just, we don't have time to share, but it's just so disappointing. And they just basically want to do an MRI, a biopsy, so they can prescribe me. And I don't want prescriptions. I wish they would want to hear what you are doing with me. But anyways, moving on. I also, the report, the accountability, the weekly meetings, sharing with all the members who became my friends. And quite honestly, when the meetings were nearing to an end, it was like, no. and then you facilitated a new group basis that we would meet monthly, and I was so grateful for that. I feel like for all the tests that you recommended that I did further than the ones that I had already had, we learned you taught me, we learned so many things, and you met with me like for a long period of time, as long as it took personally, one-to-one, to explain me the results orally, face-to-face, and then you send me a written report, which I can refer back and review, because we have a tendency to forget, but there is so much information. We discover all kinds of new infections and bacteria in my gut that I didn't know I had. You show me how to correct it via supplementation or eating certain foods, taking away certain irritants or things that affect that. And so I think I would need like an hour to really tell you all the things that you have taught me and what you have taught me to correct in that is, it's really helping my symptoms. I'm sleeping better because you also met with me about those to analyze the reasons why I was not sleeping. We did a liver detox. We did a kidney detox. I never had done in my life, and all those things I am, as God is my witness, I know they're contributing to my progress. Now, to be truthful, and I know you do want us to be truthful, I'm still a work in progress. The latest test showed that I'm sorry about the doorbell. It's probably a UPS, a Christmas box.
Yeah,
uh,
probably.
it showed that I'm dealing with some mold in, you know, infections or whatever you call those. So we're currently working with that.
Yes.
Also struggling, you know, with the candidate that I thought I had already taken care of, but it showed us that I'm still struggling with that. So I can see why, you know, I'm looking forward to how much progress I'm going to make. I still need like a couple of more tests that I haven't done. And I think I finally found in my area a functional doctor that I need to tell you in a private session with you about. And maybe this doctor will finally approve the
Yeah.
invisible infection
Oh, yes. They absolutely
lab
will.
test. Yes.
Yes, because
So
they get it. They get
yes,
it.
I'm excited about that. And then I'm excited about you looking at the results and meeting with me and see where else, what to do.
Yeah.
So I'm still having, I think, from what the lab reports, a little bit of inflammation, but not as much as I used to have. And
Mhm.
consequently, I have less pain. I
Right.
can go longer during the day. Now,
Right.
if I overdo it, I still then have a little bit of pain. Like I said, I'm sleeping better since I started. Well, my foggy brain had improved already, but since I started the uh, the mold treatment a couple of weeks
Mhm.
ago upon your
Yes.
recommendations,
Mhm.
I have clearer mind than
Yeah.
ever before.
It really works. It really does. And that just goes to show you that clearing out those extra toxins is so critical to getting well. And it does take time, right? We've got to work on clearing out those toxins for, I mean, we tell people a good year you're working on this. But what's really beautiful is that you start to feel better little by little by little by little as you're doing the work. It's not like you have to wait a year to feel better,
Yes,
right? And you
yes,
can see your own progress as you're climbing up that ladder to health.
definitely. You know, Dorinda, there are days that I think, you know how our human nature, we tend to take things for granted. And there are days that I don't feel, I think I'm not the same until I eat the wrong thing and I feel back the way I used to feel. Then I realize, oh, I do feel so much better when I do what I'm supposed to do, you know?
Yes, it's so true. I remember feeling the same way. Yep.
Yes, it is so exciting. Among other things, you also taught us like simple things, how to get over our fear of taking, you know, what the data from our lab test shows that that I was deficient in and that I needed to supplement with, because not only me, but another member in my group also, we were like, had this phobia and fear of overloading our liver or something with too many things, you know, as we do with prescriptions. And you have taught us how, no, supplements is just a little bit of what we eat in food,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. It's just bumping up what you would normally be getting in food or some other, important bionutrient that you need. It's just bumping that up. That's all. And if
Yes,
your lab tests show, and that's what's really great about this program too, is that we're not just going to throw a ton of supplements at you without doing the lab test. I mean, we're going to start with some because we know everybody needs certain things. And then, as you get your lab tests back, you see exactly, okay, yeah, you are super low on this. It's a B vitamin or something you really need to bump that up. And then you do that for a few months, maybe 6 months, and then hopefully your body will start producing it on its own again as you get well, right? So the supplements are extremely helpful.
yes,
So always want to let people know that don't be afraid of doing the supplements, because we really do need them to help us, get across that threshold of getting better, and then you can start backing off on them again.
I am so grateful that you finally taught me that and that I can finally own it, you know? I
Yeah.
remember one of the units also had to do with detoxing is not scary or something like that.
Right, right.
And
Because everybody's so freaked out over detox symptoms, and
yes,
it's like,
what do
just,
you need for 2 weeks? No. And
yeah,
we learn complicated stuff like about epigenetics and the mitochondria and all of that, but we also learn simple things that we never knew or got over fears, you know. And that's the beauty of doing a program such as yours. And I believe a very important aspect of your program, not only your expertise, which are also of utmost important, but it's like functional medicine. It seems like it's the medicine for the rich. And especially on an ongoing basis, which many of us with serious illnesses, autoimmune illnesses need. But you have made it your mission to make it accessible to us that are hurting. And for that, there's not enough thank yous that I can give you, Dorinda. And anybody that's hurting out there that can hear this message, it's not a commercial or anything. It's a hurting person to another hurting person. If you need to reach out to someone and you know, finances is your problem, talk to these women. And now I made it sound like a commercial. I'm sorry. No, I just, from the bottom of my heart, you have been a godsend, Dory.
thank you, Louisa. Thank you. And you know, I love doing these testimonial videos, and I'm so glad that I was told to start doing them, because I get so much out of this when you guys are just, just knowing that you guys are getting everything you need and you're able to afford it, and you're getting well. Everybody gets well. It's so rewarding for me. So now I'm no longer laying in bed being sick. Now I'm helping you. And it's just, God has taken my life and made it into, instead of a sick life, now I have a beautiful life that's so rewarding, being able to help you and everyone else. And so it is all good. And I appreciate you.
I appreciate you. I want to, maybe it's not important to this topic as much, but 2 days from today, on Friday, it'll be 8 years that my 27-year-old oldest son passed away. And I guess in a way that I can relate it to this conversation is that every symptom that my son had from childhood, I took him to dermatologists in Mexico, in several cities in my area. And the question of what is causing these symptoms was never even approached. And I, in my teaching job and business with 4 children as a single parent, I never did research on this. I had no idea, and so, but looking back, I just can't help but think, of course, I have to trust the Lord that was what it was to happen. But as far as I know, his body, his symptoms were screaming candida, toxicity, all kinds of stuff that could have prevented his brain tumor, And I guess because his anniversary is coming up, I just couldn't help it but mention it, that as a mother and with my mother's love, I can't help it, say, Lord, I trust your will for my son. But at the same time, I can't help think, what if my son would have gotten to see you or a good any functional doctor, that came our way at the time. But anyway,
it's so important. It's so important that we teach people, because from what we're learning in functional medicine and in the science that's coming out now, and that has been coming out over the last 10-20 years, that so many of these chronic illnesses and even so many of the cancers are really preventable, and that we can take so much more control by learning how to live an anti-inflammatory lifestyle that we're hoping maybe in the next generation, in the next couple of generations, that a lot of these things, a lot of these really severe autoimmune diseases and diabetes and all these things that we know now are preventable, even Alzheimer's disease and some cancers, that we could really see a dramatic reduction so long as we get this mission out and we teach people that, hey, you really can take control of your own health. There really is things that you can do. Yeah. And you can prevent future illness. Like right now, we were both on, being autoimmune disease patients, we were both on a fast track to developing dementia and Alzheimer's disease. And we know that for a fact in the sciences now, that with all that inflammation in our bodies and our brains, we were creating our own Alzheimer's. And now we are reversing that, right? And so now hopefully we can look forward to never having to suffer from that, right? And we're doing everything we can to make that happen. So
yes. With all that you were able to teach me after the results of my genetic test, I had total peace about it because of what you taught me. So if I have the Alzheimer's gene, so if I was to have the cancer gene, you would teach me how to create the right environment to prevent, to create health rather than illness, right?
There's so much that we can take control of that people just aren't aware of. And if we just teach people how to take control, you can prevent so much. And then we can just have these vibrant, very healthy lives, and right?
Yes.
So you're going to get there. You're going to get there, just like me.
Yes, amen. My 3 other children wonderful children, they're all adult children, but they are observing me, and I teach them as much as I can. Of course, when they're adult, there's only so much we can make them do, right? But my grandchildren, I know that they're going to have solutions. They're going to know what to do,
Yes, and that is the most wonderful part of my mission, is that I love teaching moms, because then moms teach the families, right? And then everybody learns from there. Yes, so, well, Luisa, I thank you for being such an awesome person and an awesome client, and I'm so glad to be working with you and helping you, and I love your Christmas behind you too. It's so very pretty.
You thank me, but I am the one with the most grateful heart forever. And I look forward to our many future meetings, Dory.
Okay. All right. Take care, Luisa.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.